Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. I forgot to shut this. I usually, if I'm in the room, I usually shut that door. Okay. As you can tell, I'm not necessarily alone here.
Hello, folks.
The Groby is here, but he is taking my spot that I usually record.
Chair?
But I got a chair. I took Big LT's chair. Hope my fat ass don't break it. But we are talking about there's a snake in here. We are talking about season 1, episode 6 of Smallville, Hourglass, which is kind of one of my favorites in season 1 at least. Because it's sort of a slasher in a way. And unlike the last couple episodes, there's only an A and a B plot. There's not an unnecessary C plot. There's not like... I mean, you could technically say that maybe there are 2 plots with Clark trying to figure out what's going on, and then with Harry, and then you have Lex's plot. But I feel like Clark's plot and Harry's plot are intertwined, so this episode has a guest spot from Eric Christian Olsen, you may know from another teen movie. He had a cameo in Cellular, which I think is an underrated action film.
The crime show?
The Crap Show.
The crime?
Oh yeah, he was in the NCIS Los Angeles. Oh, and Fired Up. How do you spell Fired Up? F-U. No, I don't think that's right.
That's one of them.
But yeah, let me get in. Get a drink.
It's still early.
It's not alcohol. Anyway, so the plot of this is that the characters are all, or the three of the characters, Clark, Pete, and Lana, are volunteered at old folks' home. Okay, an old folks' home, and there are 2 specific old folk that we focus on in this episode, and there's Harry Volk, who is our meteor freak of the week. He's an elderly man who we find out he thinks he was meant for great things. He would have played, a great concert pianist. I'm trying to say it differently because there's a pervert here playing concert piano. And we find out he actually was a criminal. He committed.
He was a serial killer.
He's a serial killer. Yeah, he killed people with piano wire. So he went to jail, and now he's in an old folks' home. And his meteor power, and I think this kind of goes along with what I was saying before about the meteors kind of improving on the characteristics of the people. Like in this, for instance, he's always, looking back to the past. He's a historian technically. He knows about people's lineage and everything, and so when he gets infected, he turns young again. Hence Eric Christian Olsen. And so he decides he's going to continue his murder spree, get revenge on all those who put him away. So, but it's the descendants of those that put him away, because most of them are dead. So, yeah. I do think that it's a decent, plot for a slasher, get revenge on those who wronged you, sort of thing. The fact that Hiram Kent was one of them, though, it's not funny. It's kind of one of those things where it has to be connected somehow to Clark for it to, that's his, you could have just said that he knows who, because before that happens, he has a conversation with Clark about his descendants and everything. And then who's the next? He goes back to the little pond, becomes young again, and the first person he goes after is the Kents. So you could say he was just doing that for revenge. He didn't have to have Hiram be one of the people on the stand. but because you know that he did that only because, well, Hiram's name was on the list, so why not do them next? Even though he does have a person unaccounted for, that Zoe, which, okay, so I think we need to tally those people who know about Clark's secret but don't say anything. Because at this point, when Clark saves Zoe, Zoe sees him use his powers. The truck driver sees him. And while the truck driver says you swear he hit him, that's all you get from it. And Zoe's never seen again. It's one of those characters that just sort of shows up and leaves.
Ooh.
And I am corrected. It was the Beanery. That's the coffee shop right now because it's not the Talon yet. But I just call it a coffee shop because Beanery sounds stupid.
It kind of does sound stupid.
It's so the coffee shop, which I just totally blanked. Yeah, so you get that, like, of course they have that tell, because, like, when he's old, his thing is, thanks, you're a doll. So then you have, but when Eric Christian Olsen says it, he says it suave. It's like, thanks, you're a doll. So I think they picked the right actor to do it, and he comes across menacing towards the end. Death by Corn.
Kind of corny.
It is kind of corny, but yeah, because he's in the corn. I think it's corn or it's wheat, one of the two. The silo. I think it's a corn silo. Just because he chases Martha towards the end. She's like, "What do you want?" He's like, "Kill your husband." That's how he says that too. Kill your husband.
So nonchalant.
Kill your husband. There are two ways that I like when that's said. Here and then in Saw. I'm gonna kill your husband, Mrs. Gordon. But kill your husband, just how he says it. It's carrying on that sort of character from None Other Teen Movie, where he's just so sort of preppy like. I think they picked the right guy. The B plot in this though is there's a woman, Cassandra, the other elderly person, who can tell the future. We find out that she got her powers in the meteor shower, and again, improving upon the characteristics, she's blind now, but she can now see the future. So there's that. And the B plot is that Lex kind of gets turned on to this. Not turned on, you know what I mean? He gets kind of
I didn't say it.
led on that this is going on because Clark let it slip because Clark is told that someone close to him is going to die. I'll say anything, I'll get to it. And so he's like very cautious for everyone, even though he's like freaking out on his parents. I'm here. You don't have to do that. How long have they worked on a farm and nothing's gone wrong? I mean, not that we know of, but he's like, oh, you have me. You don't need to do that. Using a saw. How are you gonna do that? I guess he could use the saw. I guess, but the saw is family, as they say. But yeah, so Lex goes to see Cassandra, and he's a little iffy on if he wants the future read, but ultimately he wants to use it to find out more about Clark. He half lets Clark in on what he's doing. He shows him the car. That he still has the car, but he doesn't tell him yet about the investigation he's doing. But yeah, and this ultimately leads to the end of the episode, where Lex does eventually allow her to read him to see the future. Now, Clark is the only one that can see what Cassandra sees, right? So, now I thought that one of the times that she touched Clark's hand, she sees like the cape, but I think that's Jordan in season 3.
Yep. That was Jordan.
Yeah. So, yeah, she sees like he's meant to save people, she says, and that, like, she calls out Pete. She's like, she touches his hand, but she's subtle about it. She acts like she dropped something. When he goes pick it up, she touches his hand. She's like, it's a long walk home, Mr.
Ross.
Mr. Ross. Huh. I left my keys in the car. Now, if Pete had already known about his secret, Clark could just, kink.
I don't think he knew at that time.
No, he didn't. Like I'm saying, if you already knew, because I said before when I first watched this, because I watched these out of order, because I used to rent it from the library. So now they had seasons 1, 2, and 3 there. So I used to rent them from the library, and I'd watch them out of order. So when I'm watching the episode with Tina Greer, and Clark is doing his X-ray thing, he's like, "Hello, hello, Clark," and I'm like, "Oh, he doesn't know that he has powers yet." So, yeah, but like, and if you think about it, like Clark is involved in most of the stuff, but it's mostly like he kills the guy. By the way, there's a cameo from the guy, one of the guys from the original. Um, uh, My Bloody Valentine, the original one. Yeah, that was my thinking face. Not very good, was it? And he plays the one that said is kills him off screen. The kills are off screen, of course. It's a TV show. Let's talk about 2001 effects, though. Oh boy, like they show meteor rocks in the thing, but like, there's body morphing stuff, not bad. But then you get stuff like I mentioned, like it happens to be with Clark all the time for some reason. Like I mentioned in Hothead, when he walks through the fire, it looks terrible. Here, he uses his super speed to go right in front of where Harry is, but they keyed it in like on a green screen, so it looks terrible. It's like, oh no, 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 no. And then there's another one later. I forgot what it was. Well, yeah, Lex. When he sees when Cassandra sees his future, like it's like he's president of the United States, and then he's standing in a field of flowers, and they're CGI, but he's composited into this field of flowers, so he looks terrible. And then
Disgusting.
you get the blood raining down, which a lot of people say you can't even put like dead meat. Couldn't even put the. I guess you could get it in now, but like some say you couldn't even put that in a YouTube video now. This was on network television, but it does look like paint's getting spilled on him. It's a little bit bright in the red, so. But yeah, and then Cassandra dies, which he clued me in that like she was the someone apparently. Like
He didn't specify who.
She didn't specify who. She said someone close, and they got close over the next few days, and then she died. And then Clark even says she saw her future, and I never connected that till now. He said something, and I was like, oh, I never got that, and I never got that till now. So I was like, yeah, but yeah, this I think this was one of the better episodes. I think for the not just because it's sort of like a slasher film, which is I'm a horror guy, but I would have to say it gets 4.5 out of 5 Superman logos for me. So, what are your thoughts on Hourglass? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. Was there anything else I missed? I feel like I went through that 13. I'm trying to think. I feel like I went through that. No, not really. There wasn't really anything with Whitney, which kind of makes the episode better.
It sucks.
At least the guy didn't go after Lana, try to force her into the narrative. Like she was there already, but because you would think, oh, Lana was taking care of Harry, so he would be like, no, they don't do that. So they go after the parents, which is much better, I think. And forcing Lana into the narrative, like in the last episode, where it wasn't really forcing her either, but But yeah, thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.